Hello, fellow book nerds. This is Gabby, and today we're talking about books I read in February. Hello, it might not look like it, but this is a brand new location because I just moved. So there's going to be a vlog coming up about that. Well, many other things, but also mentioning that in the coming weeks. So, stick around, find out. I will give you a tour. I had to transport my whole bookshelf. That was a whole ordeal. But we're here and we're ready to talk about February. This is a bit late, but you know what? Life has been a lot. So let's just be happy we're here together. So before life became a little bit too much, I have actually managed to read 10 books in February, so that's amazing. I am not expecting such good results for March, considering it's now March 11th. I thought it was 9th. It's March 11th and I've read one book. But you know what? We're gonna take the wins where we can, because actually February was pretty good and I read some really good books, so I'm excited to talk about them. So let's just dive in. So first book I read was Africa Risen, a new era of speculative fiction. So this is actually an anthology. It's a collection of short stories from different authors from Africa and African diaspora. So some of the authors are Sheree, Renée, Thomas, Ogunchovi, Donald, Becky, Zelda Knight. Those were all editors, and I didn't really know any of the authors, but I gotta say this was a really amazing anthology. So all the stories are centered around, again, Africa and African diaspora, but it's all a fantasy or science fiction, and they kind of focus on futuristic stories of like what the world could look like and that kind of stuff. And there are quite a lot of them were quite apocalyptic actually. So I loved pretty much all of them. Something about short story collections, I tend to dislike the longest ones. It has been over a month since I read this one, so I don't remember exactly which ones were my favorite, etc. But I will say that it was a 5-star anthology, one of the best ones I read. All the stories were really solid. Overall, had so many interesting ideas introduced and so many interesting conversations had, and I just thought it was such an amazing look at a wild variety of imagination of like what could be, what could have been, and I really loved that. So I would highly recommend. It was such a good anthology and it really like stands up so well. Then I finally followed up with the Wayward Children series by McGuire. So I did end up reading 7th and 8th book. So first I read Where the Drowned Girls Go, which is book 7 in Wayward Children series. In this one, we follow a character that we've been introduced to before. So if you don't know what Wayward Children series is, it's about these children who go to alternative dimensions, different world, and all of these worlds are kind of shaped to fit them and shaped to show them something they're missing, and they then have to make a decision whether they want to stay there or go back to the real world. And when they come back to the real world, they kind of had a very hard time adjusting. So there's a school called Eleanor something's Home for Wayward Children, and we followed the children from there. So I read book 7, which was a 7-star. 5-star for me, absolutely amazing. It did something that I've been waiting for a long while, which is visit the Whitehorn Institute. So the school I describe is kind of for kids who want to go back to their worlds and kind of have to get in touch with why they left and all that kind of stuff and want to remember their world. Whereas Whitehorn Institute is for children who cannot cope with what happened to them because maybe they went to a darker world and they want to forget it. So they go there to forget, and everything's kind of like bullied out of them almost because they're made to forget and believe that what they saw was not real and they're crazy kind of thing. So I really wanted to visit this other school, and I gotta say it was really interesting view at it. I had a good time reading this book. I think it had so many amazing messages, and it really lived up as one of my favorite books now. And then I read book 8, which is called Lost in the Moment and Found. And that one is about someone who gets stuck in this almost lingo in between worlds. And I thought that one again was so punchy. I wasn't always the biggest fan of the Wayward Children series. Book 2 is probably my favorite outside of these two, because now I don't know. Now I've read these more recently. I have more stronger emotions towards them. But book 2 I really enjoyed, but the rest I was like, is okay. But honestly, Lost in the Moment I found and Where the Drowned Girls Go just got me so excited. I definitely want to continue with the series. I was thinking, oh, maybe I don't care that much, but audiobooks are done so well, and I just had such a great time. And this one was really powerful, really heart-wrenching, and I really liked it. So again, 5 stars for both of them, and like kudos. Then I thought it time to prepare for the Daisy Jones and the Six show. So I actually reread Daisy Jones and the Six. That's my first reread of the year, and I picked up Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. So if you don't know, there's a TV show coming out from Amazon. There's actually already 6 episodes by the time you're watching this, but by the time I read this, it was still going to come out. I have read this originally when it came out as a physical book. I was really underwhelmed. I thought it just didn't read very well as a book. This book is meant to be an audiobook, and it was so much better that way. I actually picked it up on Script, I think, and it was like really well done. I was so impressed. Maybe I actually got it from my library, but it was so done so well. I do believe that this story, so this is a story, you follow a band who was one of the biggest bands of the 70s, and they split up inexplicably after one record, and you kind of follow the story of the band, why they split up, and kind of where are they now. And it's all done in forms of interviews, so you can imagine that it lends itself really well to being an audiobook, because it was a full cast audiobook with everyone kind of having their unique voice, and I really loved that. I think that was done really, really brilliantly, actually. So I ended up giving it 4 stars, where I think before it was more of a 3-star book. I do think that it's a good story. I still don't consider it my favorite Taylor Jenkins Reid. That honor would probably go either to Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, or the one about tennis. Whatever the one about tennis is. But I did still kind of enjoy it, and I had a good time with it, and it's definitely better as an audiobook. And I only watched the first 3 episodes, but I actually think the show is doing a really good job. So I'm excited to continue, and yeah, it was a good time. Next up, I picked up Song of Silver, Flame Like Night by Amélie Zhao. So this book is first in the Song of Last Kingdoms series. It's a new release, I think, from the author of Blood Air, which I've never read, but it's like an Anastasia retelling. So I actually have a full review for this, don't spoil everyone. So if you want to like really dive into what I liked about the book, what I didn't like about the book, you can go check that out. But basically, we follow a world which is kind of like a quasi, I guess, Hong Kong. That's the city's kind of inspired by Hong Kong, and it's kind of retelling of the invasion of like British forces into China, and we follow a world where this country was invaded, and their ways of life are kind of getting bullied and bred out of people. They can't use their language, they can't use their full names, and everything has to be catered to the foreigners. And they have different types of magic in this one. So the original people from this China-inspired world, they have a magic kind of based almost on like martial arts, and it's really cool, and it's all about yin and yang and balance. And then you have the Elatians, who are kind of like the Europe-coded invaders who use metal to kind of bend nature to their will. Really good book. I gave it 5-star, and again, if you want to check out my full review, it is up there, so you can check it out. Next up, I read Chain of Iron by Cassandra Clare. So this is the last book in the Last Hour series, and this is like book 3, 4, series 4 in the Shadowhunters lore. This got me on such a kick that I'm rewatching all of the Shadowhunters TV show. It's not even that good, but it's not as bad as I remember. I think because my expectations are so damn low, I'm actually having pretty much fun with it. I'm on the last season. I'm about to finish it. I watched like first season in one day. It was crazy. But in this one, it's kind of a retelling, I think, of like Great Expectations or something. I don't know. It was pretty good. I have a full reading spoiler vlog, so if you are interested, I would go watch that, because it's hard to summarize my thoughts in one go. I thought it was slightly underwhelming, but still pretty good. This whole series I really enjoyed. Book 2 was definitely my favorite. It's where all the drama is, where all the emotions are. This one was good, but like it's not my favorite series. I think still that goes to the Clockwork Angel series. So I give it 3 stars, and again, I would watch my video for like spoiler thoughts to really understand where I'm coming from. But let me know what you thought about it. Have you read it? Then I read The Actual Star by Monica Byrne. This must be one of the most interesting books I've read in a long while. So this is a sci-fi novel and we follow kind of 3 timelines. So apparently if you read Cloud Atlas, which I've seen the movie, I think, and I was very confused, but I was pretty young when I saw it, so that might explain why. I think first timeline you follow is 2012. You follow these 2 twins who ascend the Mayan throne. Then in 2012, you follow a young American woman who goes on a trip to Belize. And then you follow year 3012, where it's like a futuristic, genderless society. So you have these 3 timelines and they kind of collide in this cave, and it was a super wild ride. I mean, if it's a hard no in even hearing about incest, I wouldn't go for this book. But if you can ignore that, it had the most interesting ideas. Like, honestly, it was just so fascinating. It had a really amazing style of writing where it really got you hooked, and because you go through these different timelines, you kind of discover how it all comes together. The ending was weird. I'm not gonna lie, the ending was weird. I was like, what even happened? But I loved it. I loved every moment of it. It was just so fascinating to me, and uncovering it step by step was just so good. So yeah, if you like stories about different timelines and different lives and parallels and that kind of stuff, I would highly recommend this. I gave it 5 stars, and I think the audiobook was really well done as well. And I loved learning about this new like genderless society and this utopia almost, and how it's actually not a utopia. That was really fascinating. My favorite timeline probably was 2012, weirdly enough, but it was just so well done, and I highly recommend this one. So yeah, sci-fi fans, you know who I'm talking to, check this out. And then let's close this off with 2 books I'm reading for an upcoming vlog that it's taking slightly longer than planned, but again, if you check out the vlog, you'll learn that my life, bit of a mess right now. But anyway, so in this vlog, I'm so excited about it, and I'm not gonna tell you anything bar the books and what they were. So I've read The House Across the Lake by Reid and The First Day Murder Club by Richard Osman. So I'm not going to tell you what I gave either of them. I'm not going to talk to you too much about it. Maybe you can guess what the vlog is based on those 2 books. I will be reading so many more books for that vlog, and I'm kind of in the process of that, so I'm just so excited. And yeah, those were all the 10 books. I'm sorry that I've not posted in a while. It's been hard to be consistent, but I'm so excited about this vlog. I'm really excited about some of the videos coming up, especially if you're a fan of adaptations. I think there's something really cool coming up for you. Let me know, what was your favorite book you read this year, this month? Maybe The Actual Star or Africa Risen. Those were both such good sci-fis. So I'm happy that I'm on my sci-fi kick and I'm discovering even more books. Let me know, what was your favorite book you read this month? And yeah, I look forward to chatting you next time. Thank you so much for watching. If you could comment, like, and subscribe, I really appreciate it. It really helps me out. But that's it from me, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!